So I figured I'd do a quick video about this car since I get a lot of messages online about it. This is my 1984 Volvo 245. It's been lifted about 3 inches on all terrains. And as you can see, it has an OM606 swap in it. Now, this engine is pretty basic. I got the engine. I got the whole car that this engine came out of for $200. It had a sticking valve, allegedly. I found that one of the pre-chambers had melted off because one of the injectors was leaking. So I oversized one of the cylinders and put a oversized piston in number 5 and put a new pre-chamber in it and cleaned all the injectors myself and pop tested them and got it going. Had to replace 2 valves in it as well because they were bent from all of the pre-chamber guts going through the motor. It has a OM603 mechanical pump. I don't know if we can see it, but yeah, just a stock mechanical pump out of a 350 SDL. So it's a 3.4 liter pump, and it has the 6mm elements like the 606 EDC pump does. The only issue is, and a lot of people have said this, is that the 350 SDL pump, it will start to pull fuel after about 4,000 RPM, whereas the 3 liter 603 pump, that will pull clean to about 5,000. That pump has 5.5mm elements. It's a little bit smaller, and I just wanted to be safe. This is just a camper rig for me. So as you can see, I've used all of the stock stuff. I have still the stock clutch fan, stock turbo. I did change it from a vacuum controlled wastegate to a pressure controlled wastegate. Just got a cheap one off of eBay, and then I have a boost controller there just to do some fine adjustments. It has a 2.5-inch turbo back exhaust with no catalytic converters or anything. It is using a stock 240 diesel airbox, and that's pretty nice. It comes out in the stock location. I'm using air conditioning and everything in this thing also. It also has cruise control, and all of that works the way it should. I'm using the whole radiator and everything out of the Mercedes. You can't really see it there, but and you can see it has a Mercedes condenser and everything in it too, so it has dual fans. You can see the intercooler is actually in a perfect spot, and just had to cut the lower radiator support out and make a new one because the radiator is way taller. It has a 260 sway bar on it also to clear the oil pan. The oil pan had to be cut and welded right there to clear the steering rack. I tried to do a rear sump pan on it, and it was just going to be such a pain in the ass and not worth it to me. The engine would sit back a little bit further. I would have to modify the cross member, but as you can see, run out of real estate about right here. So that's a pretty good visual. You can see everything is pretty easy to get to. I got an EGT probe in there. You see the oil cooler is down there. It's mounted to the back of the cross member. Not the best location, but it's better than nothing right now. And yeah, it is all mechanical for the engine. I have just basically made, you can see right there, that's the old diesel fuel thermostat. It's a coolant style unit. So I deleted that, made a block off plate out of some 1/8 inch thick steel, and then I've been using just B&M shifter brackets to make all of the hold downs, and just use some universal throttle cable. It is an automatic. The transmission is a 7226. 7226 out of a 63 AMG. I got it at the junkyard for $50 on half off day. Works perfect. You got some Ford parts down here. You got a Ford glow plug relay that I just have triggered off of a switch. I got a Ford vacuum relay, and that is to activate the shutoff on the pump. Also, you can see there's the stock Mercedes throttle position sensor. You need that for the ECU. Yeah, had to use basically every stock line I possibly could. I converted the whole car over to a late model R134 setup out of a 93 240, and I used all the stock lines that I could. This line is out of a 740 or 940, I believe, and had to cut and weld it a little bit, and then put another fitting on it, and just made a suction hose down to the pump. It's got kind of a funky little deal down there, but yeah. Also, it does have a working speedometer and everything. It's electronic, and yeah, as you can see, you push up for some glow. Doesn't need it right now, but. And then this is the off gear transmission computer. It's pretty cool. Well, this is the little control deal, so you can set up all of your parameters and stuff through here. You can get live data, all that stuff. It's pretty sweet. It got a glow shift boost gauge that has EGT and temperature, and that is for oil temp. And then I got oil pressure, water temp right there, and I actually got all the stock gauges to work. I just put a Volvo temp sensor in the cylinder head so I could get the cluster to work, and then yeah, as you can see, it shuts off easy. Now I had to convert it because it was a cable driven speedometer, so I put a electronic pickup on the diff out of a later car, and I just got the matching cluster and everything. But yeah, that is pretty much it on this car. And here, I'll do a quick walk around video of it running. It is very, very smooth while driving. Very mechanically noisy engine, but I don't mind. It sounds cool. When you're driving it, it's very quiet inside the car. I put all the late model sound deadening in it as well, so it's actually pretty good. Uses stock Mercedes mounts on it because I tried solid mounts and it shook so bad the car was just completely undrivable. You couldn't drive it. On this side, using a stock Mercedes upper perch, as you can see right there, and then just did some welding to the cross member. There's that guy. On this side, well, yeah, that mount is a little funky. It's actually mounted behind the steering column, made a plate that bolts to the cross member, and it just pushes the mount back. But that mount is a beast. That took a while to make. But yeah, definitely would not recommend, if you do this swap, definitely would not recommend solid mounts unless you're okay with the car just shaking the living hell out of you. Stock power steering lines actually hooked up to the rack, so didn't have to modify anything there. And just the factory Mercedes power steering lines, factory transmission cooler lines that hug along the oil pan, which is nice. The transmission fits in the tunnel with no modification whatsoever, because the engine sits a little bit further forward, and those 722s are very small, so it has the stock Weebo still in it as well. But let's see if I can get a better image of that. Yeah, there it is. And that is a E300 turbo diesel drive shaft welded to a Volvo M47 drive shaft. And this is the M47 cross member, which is a little bit flatter, so you just had to weld a little plate on there to make it work. Yeah, stock shifter linkage just needed to be shortened off of the E300, and I'm just using, for right now, I'm just using a stock 240 shifter. I have a E300 shifter that I'm gonna put in it soon here, so I can utilize all the gear select stuff on there, because right now it's just you put it in drive and that's it. You can manually shift gears with that transmission controller, but it's kind of a pain in the ass. So yeah, I'll do a video about the suspension and stuff later, but I figured this is as good a time as any to do a little walk around on the car. Yeah, stay tuned. I'll have some more videos of this thing soon.